My name is Reema Islam and I'm from Bangladesh, and I worked in, my first degree was in environmental science. I have a bachelor's degree in that, and I had a master's in development studies, and I've been working in development organizations for a number of years now, and mainly I always worked with communities that lived near natural heritage sites, so like wetlands and forests. And because I was always very interested in archaeology, so I wanted to study it further, and I applied for this master's in Greece. And I'm basically here to do my master's in heritage management under the University of Kent and Athens University of Economics and Business. I've been in Greece since last year, September, so I've almost been here 9 months now. The reason I came to the summer school was because when I joined the master's course, I realized that because I've got some experience of working with communities living around heritage sites, and I felt that this was probably the only thing that was missing, because I didn't have this connection with the Greek, the Greek locals or people who live around, say, an archaeological site. Because through my work experience, I've also worked with, I'm familiar with communities that live around archaeological heritage sites in Bangladesh. I had no idea of how people here behave or how they perceive this particular heritage that they live close to. So I knew that the summer school, offers this kind of an opportunity, which is why I'm basically here. Because I thought this was, the best way for me to not just live in a village for like a month, with a valid reason to live in a village, but also to learn and to, be guided by people who could help me through the language and the culture.
Could you briefly describe your experience in the summer school so far?
Briefly. Well, some things are very similar to my culture back home, with the culture that's here in Gonies. And then, of course, there are some things which are completely different. But because my mother is from Pakistan, so a lot of the culture is very similar to how people are in the northern part of Pakistan, where there's this culture where, like, say for instance, the kuras, where the men do a lot of the hard work and the women are mainly doing the cooking and they're serving. It reminds me very much of some events that we have back home and also in North Pakistan. And so then I can relate to it somewhat, but of course there are differences, and of course, there are little layers that you have to sort of be very, you have to be aware of these layers, because I might just think, oh, it's just like back home, but it's not, So I'm trying to find the subtle differences, and that's very interesting for me.
You brought up the topic of living in a village for a month.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this, living deeply within a community for an entire month, a community which is not yours?
It's perfectly fine. I love it. People are very nice here. I mean, generally Greeks are extremely welcoming, but the people here, I think it took them a minute to just, open up their houses and hearts to us, literally, because I don't feel like a stranger at all, really, even though I don't speak a language. And, I think if I can just walk into someone's house and I ask them for a glass of water, they'll probably give me food as well. That's how they've been with us. So it's been a wonderful experience.
And despite this welcome and a good experience you've had, have you experienced any difficulties in particular?
Not really. Perhaps, on a very personal level, the fact that it's very hard for people to accept that I don't drink alcohol maybe has been the only physical difficulty for me, but I think that's just something very minor. But no difficulties as such, except for maybe the language barrier, of course, which is a big barrier.
And how have the ethnographic methods that we taught you here have helped you understand the dynamics of this community?
Like I said, because for me sometimes I tend to be to assume things, perhaps, and because through the ethnographic, the courses that we've been doing, I'm trying to sort of be a little more analytical in the way I observe people or what I'm observing, and trying to understand, exactly what is happening, rather than having some kind of a preconceived idea. So I think it's kind of helped me focus a little more and go into a little more details about the observations or what I'm seeing.
So overall, how would you describe your experience here on this field school?
It's been amazing. It's really been amazing. I'm really happy I came here.
Thank you, Reema.
Thank you.